Hey, Godfrey.
I assume that you're born in the States?
I was born in New Jersey. If that's still a part of the United States, yes.
I assume that you're probably born in a Christian home?
I was brought up in a Catholic home.
Okay, so...
Yes.
Well, in India we have lots of religions, and Hindus and Muslims, particularly the Hindus, they kind of worship almost 1 million gods.
Yes.
So you were speaking about atheism, speaking about theism.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that, but you connected atheism and theism with Jesus. Now, if you were born in India and if your name was Ram, would you connect that with Krishna or with Ganesha?
Okay, well, excellent question. I'm trying to... No, don't go away, Godfrey. Don't go away. Because I need clarification. All right? My question is, does the evidence show that Jesus was a human being that came to earth, predicted and accomplished his own resurrection from the dead? That's my question. And if he did, then it seems to me whatever he teaches is true. And if he taught that the Hebrew Old Testament was true, I'm accepting what he says on his authority because he's proven to be a divine being by himself resurrecting from the dead. Now, you could say, well, why not Hinduism? Or why not Buddhism? Or some of these other worldviews? Well, not that Hinduism or Buddhism are teaching things that are false all the time. I think every world religion has some truth in it. But if it differs from what Jesus says, then it would be wrong. The Hindus, the Buddhists, the Muslims may have many things right. But if they differ from what Jesus says, they appear to me to have it wrong. Not on my authority, on his.
Now, I was just asking, in case you were born in a Hindu home,
yes,
are you still speaking what you're speaking today and connecting with Jesus? Because if you speak to Hindu people about Jesus, they say Jesus came 2,000 years back.
Yes.
Their gods came like 5,000 years back. So Jesus is a pretty new God compared to that God.
Oh, I would agree, but I would say, what evidence do you have that the gods you're talking about that were further back are actually the true gods?
And the same would go with Jesus?
Well, that's the question. That's why I'm trying to go through evidence here, maybe inadequately.
So technically my question was, I'm okay with there being a God.
Yes.
But my question is, why would you be specific to connect that with Jesus?
Because I think the evidence shows that there really was a man named Jesus 2,000 years ago who walked the earth and performed miracles and predicted and accomplished his own resurrection, because the evidence for that is quite good. And you have people who were once Jews converting completely to this new belief system and paying for it with their lives to say this really happened.
But don't you think the evidence was also that Buddha lived on earth and Krishna and all the others also lived there? They have stories.
Oh, they have stories, but the difference between Krishna and Buddha and these folks and Jesus is Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life.
How do we know that's true?
By the evidence. That's what we've been looking at. Obviously, I went through just a little bit of it this afternoon or this evening.
These guys also have evidence. So they have a story and they have a thesis, and the Christians have a story and a thesis.
Right.
How would we differentiate between both and justify one story?
Oh, I agree with you, Godfrey. What you ought to do is you ought to look at the evidence from all of them and see which way the evidence points and then make your decision. But just because somebody was born in a particular place doesn't mean that their belief is either true or false. In fact, Richard Dawkins often makes this argument. He's an atheist. He says, well, if you were born in Saudi Arabia, you'd be a Muslim. If you were born in England, where I am, you'd be a Christian. And he doesn't really realize, number one, that doesn't make his belief true or false, or their belief true or false. He also doesn't seem to realize that his own assertion is disproven by his own experience. Here he is, an atheist in a Christian country, right? He's trying to say, if I was born in another place, I'd be something else. Well, he's going against the prevailing view in his culture that Christianity is true.
So my last question is, you're Frank and you converted atheism to theism with Jesus. Let's say Mr. Ramakrishna had a second session and he concluded atheism in Saraswati after a session. How would you relate to Mr. Ramakrishna and how would you defend your faith?
Well, I would have to see the evidence. And I didn't relate that Jesus was God before establishing that God existed. That's why I went through the evidence that a theistic God exists. A spaceless, timeless, immaterial, powerful, moral, personal, intelligent, creator. Right? So from that point on, if that God exists, then miracles are possible. And if he does miracles through Jesus, and we have good eyewitness testimony for that, then I think that's good evidence that whatever Jesus teaches is true. And I'm going to go with what he says.
The reason why I asked that question is because I stayed in India. I was born and brought up there.
Yes.
I face all these. By the way, I'm a pastor. I'm just wanting to find out you.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you, Godfrey. God bless you.